at us, and we bought a house and built it there, and we bought a barn and built it there. The Dutch Van der Ling gang is no more. Like, that shit has fallen apart. Arthur's dead. All that shit has happened. But yeah, what's the last time we talked about this game? What's the last thing you remember? Babe, that's what you said the last time I explained the game to you. Okay. I'm streaming right now. Alright, so we broke John out of prison. We ambushed the army. We framed the Indians, or we played the Indians so that we could get away, you know? Yep. We watched Como Driscoll hang, so their gang isn't a problem anymore. It was really sad. Alright. So we ambushed the army again. To draw the oh, this time it was to help the Indians because they were really sick, and the army was holding on to their medical supplies, so we ambushed them and stole the medical supplies. So during all this, Arthur is trying to convince John he needs to leave the gang because he sees it's falling apart and like it's not stable anymore. And what? No, he sees the gang is falling apart, and he's like, he wants John, his wife, and his son to get out of there, and anybody else who can. So he's trying to convince people to leave the gang, and while all this is happening, people are choosing to leave themselves. Like Pearson left, the cook, the drunk reverend, he left. And it's falling apart, and so then they kill, what's his name? Oh yeah, they kill Mr. Cornwall. Okay, so they went to rob one last train. That was supposed to be the last job, that they were gonna do. And they're like, this is it. After this, we can be done. But in the process, John got shot, and Dutch was standing right next to John, and they fell off the train, but Dutch wasn't on it. He was riding his horn. John fell off the train, and so Dutch said he was going back for John, and then he didn't. He rode past him and rode away, and yeah, and so Arthur and Sadie went to go save John's wife, who got captured by the Pinkertons, and they did. And then during all this, and so after this, they go back to the camp, and Arthur's mad at Dutch because he didn't. At this point, he doesn't know that he just left John, and so he's mad at Dutch. He's like, "That was stupid. We never should have did that job." He's like, "I'm leaving." He's trying to convince everybody else to leave, and Javier, no, not Javier. Yeah, Javier and Bill and Micah, they decide to go with Dutch. They decide to stay loyal to Dutch, and Charles and Bill, no, Charles and Uncle join Arthur, and so they're sitting there arguing, and they're aiming their guns at each other like shit's about to go down because they got so heated. And then it came out that Micah was, yeah. And then John came back. John came back holding his shoulder because he got wounded, and he was yelling at Dutch. He's like, "You left me, you son of a bitch." Yeah, he was like, you left me," talking all this shit, and he was about to shoot Dutch. And then I can play that right now. It's it's pretty far, but I can play. I can play. I can replay missions at any time, so I could go replay it right now. Okay, and so I will if you want after this mission. And so where was I? Okay, so John comes back and he overheard the Pinkertons talking about it, and it turns out Micah was the one who ratted all the like who's been informing the Pinkertons about their position because he's trying to play Dutch. Micah's trying to take control of the game, and Dutch didn't want to believe it, and so Arthur and John are sitting there trying to convince Dutch, and they didn't believe it, and so shit popped off. They started shooting at each other, and so um, at this point, Abigail and John's kid are safe. Arthur sent them away with another girl who left the gang, and so him and John and they're getting overwhelmed because yeah, there's a lot of fucking people trying to kill them at this point because the cops are there now. Everybody's trying to kill them, and Dutch and everyone is trying to kill them, and so they run. And keep in mind, Arthur's sick as fuck. At this point, he's dying because of the tuberculosis. Like that shit is killing him. So, so, so Javier splits. Uncle splits in a separate direction. They go. They like run for their lives. And you and John, because John's like having to help you because you're so sick you can barely walk. And so you and John start running, and you're running up a mountain, and they're all chasing you, and you're shooting. You don't kill anyone. Yeah, it was really sad. It was really sad. And you're shooting, you're trying to kill them all. No, I didn't cry, but it was sad. You're shooting, and you're trying to kill them all. And then you think you get away, and then Micah comes out of nowhere. He like comes up behind you, and so you start fist fighting. John's holding off cops while you and Micah are fist fighting, and then Micah like beats your ass, right? And so, man, I can't remember if Micah dies or not. I don't think so. I think so. You're fighting for a long time, and then yeah, and so you're fighting, and you tell John. John's already gone at this point. Actually, you and John, you start getting. No. You and John are fighting off cops, right? You and John are fighting off cops, and then you start getting overwhelmed, and you tell John to go because he needs to be a father for his kid and a husband for his wife. So you tell John to go, and hesitantly, after some convincing, John finally leaves you behind. And so you're sitting there fighting the cops, and then Micah comes and starts fighting you, and you guys are fist fighting, and then yeah, well the cops can't find you at this point. We ran up further, and um so we're fighting, and then Micah's down on the ground, and you're down on the ground, and you're crawling towards a gun that got kicked out of your hand, and then up comes Dutch, who steps on the gun, and yeah, and and Arthur was finally able to convince Dutch that Arthur was Arthur was finally able to convince Dutch that Micah was the snitch, and so instead of killing Micah or Arthur, Dutch just walks. No, he walks his own way. He goes somewhere else. He leaves both of them, and then Arthur's dying, and then he like says some smart aleck shit. I forget what he says to Micah, but that was like his last breath, and then he dies, and then you don't see any, and then that's it, and then the next part takes place. It's called the time lapse is some years later, and you start playing as John Marston, which is who you play as in the first Red Dead game. Um, John Marston didn't die; he got out. Oh, he dies. Yeah, no, he definitely dies in the other game. But he kills the last remaining members of the Dutch Vanderlyn gang. He kills Bill, Micah, and Dutch. Yeah. That was what that whole game was about, was getting revenge on the remaining members. Because of We saw why too. That was so awesome. I'll replay it for you after this. No, I'll replay that mission. It's so good. It ties everything together. What? Hun? It's mama. It's crazy, man. Yeah. Oh, anyways, so so yeah, John starts getting his life together. He finds some work, but slowly the cowboy life starts creeping back up on his ass, and this rival farm was given the ranch that he worked on some trouble, so he went there and slaughtered them all. Yeah, because they attacked the ranch and they like set it on fire and they killed some of the guys. So John went there and literally killed everyone, and that really pissed off his wife. So she took Jack, and she was like, come find me once you get your shit together. And so John went and tracked down Uncle, you know, one of the guys who was loyal to him and scattered, and he went and tracked down Javier. I mean Charles. It's 6. The game is 6 chapters. Oh, that was chapter 6. The first thing I was talking about. This is epilogue 1, 2, and 3. Right now I'm on epilogue 3. Yeah. And so, all right. And so, yeah. And so, what was I saying? No, he tracked down Uncle and Charles. Those are the guys who were on his side, and he took out a loan. He bought some land. He killed the squatters, and then he built the house, and then he built the barn, and then and then the people the squatters he killed, they're really crazy guys. They're called the Skinners, and after they were celebrating finishing the barn, they kidnapped Bill in the middle of the night, or I mean Uncle in the middle of the night, and we just had to go rescue him, and that's what we just did. Be back?
Maybe, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
We must have killed most of them. This is your land.
Was it theirs once?
This is the 3rd epilogue.
I met a fella said the Skinners rode down about 2 years ago.
I don't know.
They're just angry
I think so.
on a rampage, and we got in their way.
Sort of like we used to be.
Yeah, exactly like we used to be.
Look, I'm wearing the outfit that he wears in the first game too.
We got Uncle singing instead of torture.
Oh my God! Another sad thing was Arthur gave John his hat right before right before John left him. He took his hat off and put it on John's head and told him to go.
I hope so. I really do. If she ever comes back.
Oh, dude, that was so sad when he put his... Yeah, I almost lost it when he put his hat on his head. Oh, I was sad. This is the barn that John Marston dies into. She finally came back.
You always did have that fine way with words.
You doing all right, son?
Sure, Pop. Can I go see the house?
Sure.
Just give him some time. He'll warm up. It's quite a place you got here.
It's yours.
Ours. I should see about that boy.
Who's my new rival?
Oh, that's Rufus. He's loyal, dumb, and angry, so he reminded us of you.
That's your idea of a joke, miss?
I guess.
Come on!
He built this shit by hand. What the fuck? Nah, look, I still have 3 missions. Oh my god, what the fuck? Yeah, Abigail. And Jack is much... The first game takes place like... way later, like 5 years later, I want to say. Maybe longer.
Look at me. Working the white man's land for no pay. How will I let this happen?
Look, if you need money, I'll get you money.
I'm just joking with you. Right now, this is good for me. And I know you do the same.
You say
Yeah.
the word, I'll be there.
All right.
So, if you remember, this is the barn that John dies in. They the Pinkertons, after they double cross him, they surround the barn, and he hauls his son and his wife out on a horse through the back, and he opens the door, shoots as many as he can with 6 shots, even though there's like 50 out there, and catches that smoke. If I would have bought the deluxe edition of this game, it would have come with Red Dead 1.
So
On
you
Xbox
happy?
I
360.
think so.
I don't have that anymore.
And I did good?
We'll have to buy it
You
for
did
PS3.
good.
So... am I forgiven?
Never.
You are a hard woman.
Ma! Pa! Come out here!
Sadie, you're alive! John, it's...
Sadie Adler.
Like a cowboy?
How'd you know she was...
I would love to be a
Sorry,
gunslinger.
I
You
thought
look
I...
well. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Oh yeah.
Come on. But tell me about you, darling. All armed to the teeth like that.
I'm a working woman, Abigail. I'm a bounty hunter, bodyguard. I protect the gold prospectors. Up in the
Sadie
hills.
Adler. She was in the
I'm
gang.
thinking of starting my own
She was also loyal to
transportation
Arthur.
business. I was thinking maybe if John wanted
Ooh.
to earn some money.
My husband, he ain't looking for that kind of work.
Took on a lot of debt when we bought this
We can watch
place.
right after
And
this
you're
if you
working
want.
for her to pay it off?
Yes, sometimes I was.
I don't
But I
mind.
thought we said no more of that.
No, you said that. What else am I gonna
We can
do?
watch.
I'm a goddamn man.
It's legal work, Abigail. And I never got killed. It's hunting down fools for the government. Easy. Even Jack could do it.
Don't you put those stupid ideas in the boys'
I
head.
want to do.
He's gonna do something better than this.
Like what?
I want to do
Silly
whatever
stories.
you want to do.
I'm sorry, Abigail. Really,
It's
I
called
am.
50-50,
I just
right?
Thought if you wanted to earn some money,
How many times do I gotta bury you, John Marston?
Never. You ain't never burying me. It's legal work that I can handle.
there's something else.
Micah?
Bounty hunting is one thing, but goddamn, Micah!
I heard he was up country, or
Yeah, we
some
should
fellow
play
that
after
sounded
this.
just
Or we
like
should
him.
watch after
Killed
this
a
cutscene.
family, bar a little girl who escaped.
Leave Micah alone.
Listen, I'm sorry, Abigail. I came by because I was riding by chasing a fella, and I thought John wanted to earn some extra money.
What is it?
Scary.
Abigail, We need the money.
Some fella robbed his business.
Sounds scary.
You know, an
I
accountant or
stuff that's
something.
scary.
Came down from Rhodes, I believe.
How much does it pay?
It pays good. The soft ones usually do.
Okay,
What was the first one?
I guess. But Micah? No.
All right. John Marston, let's go.
What are other scary
You
movies?
bring him back to me. You hear?
Of course.
We should look at the selection. Alright. Alright guys. Well, I'm ending my live stream here. I hope you guys enjoyed this I hope you guys enjoyed this Red Dead 2 gameplay.
Let's do it.
Oof, I forgot to change the name. When did I stream Wildlands?
Follow me. We're going up into tall trees.
And
How you getting
with
down?
that, this is John Morrison signing off.